we're here with someone who really doesn't need any introduction to board gamers.
Of course I do.
Garcia of the Dice Tower here.
How you doing, man? What's happening?
Doing all right. How's the first day of the con gone so far?
It's cool. It's been a little slow, but I think people are still finding their way over here, you know?
I think so.
But this is great. We were here last year, Sam and myself from the Dice Tower, and it's unbelievable, man. Compared to last year, this place it's bigger. It's in a different location.
Yes.
You got vendors set up. You guys are here with this setup, which is gorgeous. I mean, this place is amazing.
Yeah, they really, last year was nice, and then this year they just kind of, I think they filled up the library the library space they're in, and this year,
right.
You got to give it to the showroom.
Yeah, the organizers are just killing it. This is very well done. Yeah.
As far as like you guys who see so many games and you're just you're kind of immersed in this culture. Kind of what are the trends you see going on right now, like in 2016? That
Mars games.
Yeah,
every other game seems to be a Mars game
What's up
right
with that?
now. Yeah. No, that's a good trend. I like sci-fi. I still remember the days when a sci-fi game equaled you're not going to sell too many copies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Back in the day, but now that's a good trend, and I love it. So sci-fi games, happy for that. I think the trend is just bigger and more variety. Everybody, every company that's putting out games seems to be covering a lot of the different corners of the market.
It seems. I guess would you guys agree that maybe I guess component-wise we've seen I noticed myself a lot of games.
Yeah.
Very well produced.
Oh yeah.
And it just seems almost like the bar's been raised so high nowadays that if you just produce a standard, just okay quality game, I mean, people comment about it. Whereas a few years ago, that would just been kind of been par there.
Right. Yeah, we were talking about this the other day about artwork specifically, and how used to be good artwork would stand out. You'd say like, oh, Jamaica. Yeah, Jamaica's got gorgeous artwork. Now, bad artwork. You'll notice because everything's so good, like across the board, it's superb art, and we have some right here, amazing artists. It's just superb artwork, and so something that the publisher, the Kickstarter, whoever's doing it, didn't really put their money and then put some weight behind that. You're gonna be able to tell.
So you can't get by with it these days.
No, right. You can't phone it in.
Well, for you guys who see so many games, when you see a game that maybe where they kind of skimped on the art, does that kind of give you guys, say mechanics are still good? I mean, does that still lower, affect how you guys look at that game?
I think so. Even if you didn't want it to, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Even if I went into it thinking, I'm not gonna let this affect me. I'm not gonna let the fact that these little pieces are like paper thin affect me. It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
board gaming is a tactile thing. You want to look at good artwork. You want to play with good quality cards, roll good dice. So I think that's a big part of it. And I think if these games are supposed to be the designers or the publisher's baby, then that's a piece of it that they kind of ignore. You know what I mean? Or didn't really put as much effort behind. You can get good artwork.
Yeah, it's not. And like you're saying, with as many artists as are in the industry now, with all
Right.
it should be accessible, available to you.
Right, and there's always people trying to break into being an artist that's recognized. So yeah, maybe you cannot get Vincent to trade because the dude is hot and everybody knows who he is. But you can get so and so who in 2 years would be amazing and popular, but they're great now. So they're just not known.
So there's artists out there.
Right, you just got to go a little deeper.
Well, when you guys are reviewing games, you see so many games. How do you kind of avoid burnout? I mean, you see so many. Are you ever afraid that there's going to be a game that's pretty good that you're just not going to see it for what it is? Maybe because you see so many games. So many great games.
It's a good question. It's an interesting question. It definitely is no game, and you try to do this sometimes, so no game is really in a vacuum, you know what I mean? So I remember games that I rated a 9 or an 8 that now I would go back and say that it's like a 5 at best, But it's about having that knowledge, I think, is only going to ultimately be good for everybody that is tuning in to find out about a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might like it more than I did if I said, oh, this is like a 7. For you, it might be a 9. It might be a 10. But if I said it's a 9 and your taste happened to line up with mine, then it's standing out from the crowd for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
It's just, it drives, hopefully, more people to do better.
Okay.
Just like the German Game of the Year awards that came around in the late 70s drove better game making in Germany because it mattered. Winning that award meant you sold more of them.
You sold a ton of copies.
Right, if you win, you sell more. So what happens? Everybody gets better, right? The Academy Awards. Why do American movies make, bajillions of dollars? Or why are they, good dramas and all? I mean, Academy Awards and the box office do drive, the want to do better movies.
Okay.
Same thing with board games.
Kind of raises what is the phrase? I think rising tide raises all ships.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So, well, as far as like as a reviewer, I mean, what do when you know you've got to review this game and you just don't like it? I mean, how do you kind of get through that? I mean, obviously you're going to be honest about it, but I mean, I know you've got to play a game a few times, and with as many games as I imagine you guys are playing.
It's tough. I mean,
there's days where it's like it's ugly, the mechanics are bad.
I don't think
anybody walk away from one.
No, I don't think so. But it's not fun. Doing a negative review is not. It's not fun. It doesn't feel good to trash someone's game. I know that work went into that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Someone put some effort into it, even if
right.
It's not.
Someone worked on this. Someone quite possibly, really worked on it, slaved on it. But at the end of the day, what I do and what I'm very fortunate to do is give my opinion on a game. Now, I also feel better once I've done that negative review because it is my opinion. It's not the end-all, be-all, this is what everybody should think. If you know your tastes don't line up with me, and I said I hate this game, go check it out. You know what I mean?
Could still be my cup of tea.
Right, of course. And I'll attempt to say I think this will be good for X or Y or whoever, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's more important for you to know as a viewer if your tastes line up with mine or not than what I thought of it necessarily. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so the final score is not necessarily as important as do my taste tend to skew the same as yours, and then I can base my opinion of the game off of that, or my desire to want to go out and play that game.
And if I'll do an overview of every game I review. I do an overview. It's not a learn to play, right? It's not that in depth, but it's an overview to give you eyes on the game.
That's actually one of my favorite parts of the reviews on the Dice Tower. I know that Game Boy Geek and these other reviewers.
He stole it from us.
But that overview sometimes that's almost the most that may be one of the most important parts of the review. Is,
Absolutely.
I may get to the end of that review and say from what I can tell I think I would like to try that one.
Right.
Like just like you're saying, you may give it a low score, but I'm like, man, something in that really hooked me.
Oh, sure.
Well,
that's a big deal.
And it seems like the hobby is just kind of really. There seems to be a lot of growth in the hobby.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a lot of good that comes of that. Is there anything really that you see that might be a concern? I mean, kind of like with there's just so many movies that come out, just straight to video. I mean, do you worry about just even more kind of just low grade games kind of getting out there and just kind of flooding the market, or do you feel like that's really an issue? Are those two industries kind of comparable?
I don't think that the big issue there and the big I don't think my concern is necessarily that the market is going to be flooded with bad games. I think the market will have more games, which by definition means more bad games, probably. Yeah. There's also more good games, right?
Yeah.
There's just more of them. I think my big concern is that, and this is happening already with things like Asmodee buying a lot of people up and everything, the hobby is becoming less of a niche market where this dude who owns a game company and he knows this guy who makes the game and so who illustrates it, right? To a proper industry where you're gonna everybody's on the one hand going, oh, we gotta get everybody into the hobby. Promote the hobby. The flip side of that coin is you are no longer familiar with the guy who made the game, the guy who publishes it. You now are dealing with big company number one and massive company number two, and you're losing a little bit of that familiarity. A little bit of that. This is my little piece of the world. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, I can see what you're
It
saying.
takes adjustment, is all I'm saying. I think people want both. I think a lot of gamers want both. Oh, I want to bring the hobby to everybody in the world, but I want to keep it also small and familiar.
Yeah. You feel like it's like I know like listening to a lot of and watching a lot of board game media. It seems like a lot of you guys know each other. A lot of the publishers. You hear a lot of the same names. Like I know, for example, I like to follow Stronghold Games, Steve Bonacore.
Right.
So he's a person who I can look up and listen to.
Well, you could go to a convention and meet him,
right? I could go to a convention to meet him, shake his hand, talk to him.
Like anybody could do that. Is what I'm saying. If you're able to.
As I guess what you're saying is these game companies become bigger and bigger. There's less of that personality there. Less of that. Is that what you're talking about? Like,
right.
You lose some of that.
I can go and meet Stephen Bonacore at the next convention he's at. Anybody can if you can make it there.
Yeah.
I can't go meet. I just lost his name. The guy who came up with Microsoft. Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
I can't go anywhere and shake his hand.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
He's kind of out of reach. I mean, you know who he is. You see his face.
Right. Like I'm aware of him.
You're never gonna.
I can't ever go and like.
With him.
Yeah. Right. That's what I'm talking about. We're gonna lose a little bit of that the more we grow. We just have to be okay with that because it's either the hobby continues to grow and you get that, or it does not continue to grow and you keep that familiarity of sort of I understand my little work.
Do you guys, and I know you guys kind of have your finger on the pulse of the industry, but do you guys ever feel a little overwhelmed with the amount of games coming out?
All the time.
Or you're worried that, hey, a good game's going to fall off my radar, and I'm, one that maybe you'd want to put, tell everyone about, or do you really worry? Just do what you can do, I guess.
All the time. I mean, there used to be a time when you would say, I'm going to try to play every game that comes out this year. That's a joke now. I mean, that's like ridiculous.
It's not impossible.
It's not possible. I don't think if I played every waking minute of my life that I could play every game that gets published, So yeah, you worry about missing something good. But I think there's enough people out there doing board game content, doing reviews, sharing with one another this world, that I'll hear about it, hopefully, if it's really good.
Well, and I guess as being someone who's like just kind of mentioning just like the whole board gaming industry, being someone who's part of that, like how often do you get to just game for yourself? I mean, I know you're always doing reviews and do you ever get to just play a game and you're not thinking about I'm going to review this or this is going to be part of the job? Do you ever just get to step back and say, look, I'm just going to play a game as Z, who is a gamer, not Z, is part of the dice style?
I think you need to, or you would get burnt out if you did this kind of job. So I do, and now it's not as frequently as I used to, But you have to. At some point, if you're like a movie critic, you got to just go home and put on a movie with the kids, right?
Yeah, go home, watch that popcorn flick, know that I'm not going to review this and tear it apart. I'm just going to enjoy it for what it is.
I just want to sit here and, I don't want to have to I don't want to have to write the book report afterwards. I just want to read the book, you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, I'll do it with my family. I'm doing it here, coming here, playing with folks, playing with you, just hanging out and sharing some fun experiences. Absolutely.
Well, are there any are there any games or anything happen at the Dice Tower that viewers should be looking out for here in the near future?
Man, Well, we have coming up our cruise, our Dice Tower cruise. That's filled up at this point, if I'm not mistaken. But hopefully it'll be a success, and we can do it again next year. Of course, Dice Tower convention. Definitely try to make it out to that. We're just gonna keep on trying to do what we do. Variety shows, reviews, and keep the content as high quality as we can, and talk about all these crazy games we love. Keep everybody involved.
Z, I really do appreciate you taking the time to sit with us, man. I had a good time, and thanks for visiting with us, and I enjoyed gaming with you earlier. Even though we all drowned. I mean, we all drowned. We played it was like the submarine game. Deep Sea Adventure, right? Yeah. Basically, what somebody said should be called Learning to Drown.
Learning to Drown. And I learned 3 times in a row.
Yeah, I learned you can't be greedy because then you use up all your eggs. So. But at least you guys all died too. So you know.
That was good. We died together.
You know, we were
Solid.
holding hands in our treasure at the bottom of the ocean. You know.
Well, thanks, man. Thanks for having me over and then the chat and everything.
Okay.
You guys are great. Cool.
Thank you. Have a good day, man.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.